Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, depending on where in the world you are joining me from. Me, I am Illuminati, and this is the Crypto and Cognac podcast show, as always, live every single week, Atlantic Standard Time, sharp 7 p.m. Right? So, as always, if I'm here, check the comments, Stevie there. Check my glass, Henny there. Right? So, guys, welcome to episode 26, season 7 of the podcast. This evening, I'm having some Hennessy Pure White. Now, recently, you all know I drink my Hennessy on the rocks like 99% of the time. But as I've become a lot more amenable to pure white, I've decided to start experimenting a bit more. And one of the things that I've come across in terms of to mix with my pure white is some grapefruit juice, right? And I'm gonna show you which brand of grapefruit juice because DNP for that, right? But yeah, the pure white and the fruit juice, bro. Like honestly, like besides coconut water, besides white cranberry is actually pretty nice, but pure white and grapefruit juice, well, maybe I'm biased because I love grapefruit juice. I could drink grapefruit juice every single minute of every single day, but it absolutely complements the pure white. So give it a try, what I tell you. But on to our story. Today is the 30th of April 2026, and today a particular token was launched by a particular project that is expected to, or hyped to, or whatever other adjectives you want to use, but they are thought to be revolutionizing this crypto space. So, this is not something we do usually, but because I'm doing it today, I want to make sure that you hear me well as it relates to our housekeeping. I am not a financial advisor. This is not a financial advisory podcast. And this episode is not advising anyone to go out there and buy MegaETH, right? This is an assessment of a new project, a new platform that may have significant impact on the way we utilize blockchain technology. And for that reason, and that reason alone, we are discussing MegaETH today. This is not any um, validation of the project. This is no endorsement of the token. This is no advice to go and support the project financially. This is an assessment of the perceived future of blockchain as impacted by the arrival of this particular project, right? And as I get into it, you're going to understand why I've chosen this particular time and this particular project to touch on today, right? We're going to explore whether or not this idea of a real-time blockchain has true, whether or not this is just hype. So, what is MegaETH or MegaETH, depending on how you pronounce ETH or ETH? ETH. It is the latest in a long list of Ethereum layer 2 um, blockchains, right? So it is designed to make blockchains feel like Web 2, instant, responsive, and scalable. It targets 100,000 plus transactions per second, right? Which is extremely fast. And its block time is as low as 10 milliseconds. And they are aiming for 1 millisecond per block. It is fully Ethereum compatible, which means it is an EVM chain. And the mainnet was launched in February of this year, February 2026. Again, the core pitch of MegaETH is to make blockchain apps feel instant, right? It is to make DeFi feel like real-time accessible opportunities, right? So it's not just about faster DeFi. We're talking about real-time gaming. We're talking about high-frequency trading, and we're talking about consumer apps that don't feel like crypto, right? For all of you who've been in this space for a little while, you all understand what I mean when I say making an app that it runs on the blockchain that does not feel like crypto, because we've all seen the lags, we've all seen the delays when trying to transact on the blockchain. Now, why it is receiving a lot of attention in general is that Vitalik Buterin, which is one of the founders of Ethereum, has put his money where his belief is as it relates to MegaETH, right? Him, as well as Joseph Lubin, who is another one of Ethereum's co-founder, Dragonfly Capital, of course, and Sriram Kannan. These are all big name guys who are backing this particular project. Now, we know Vitalik does not often come out in support of a project. So when he does, there's a certain belief, there's a certain understanding around the technicals associated with that project, as well as how it aligns with Ethereum's long-term plan, right? So just his stamp of approval speaks to, you know, the technical credibility and, like I said, the alignment with Ethereum's long-term roadmap. Some of the concerns, because it has received massive amounts of funding, right, and demand already. I think it would have some reports state that it would have raised as much as 450 million pre-launch of the token. We're gonna see what that leads to. Some people are concerned that it might just be another VC play and hyped because of that VC play, but we are hoping that Vitalik's stamp of approval offsets that a little bit, right? Now, I said it's an L2, it's a layer 2 on Ethereum. So what makes MegaETH different from the other L2s? One, it has node specialization, right? So most blockchains, every node does everything on the platform, which leads to some lag, some inefficiencies. However, MegaETH has 3 different types of nodes. So they have sequencers, which execute transactions. They have provers, which generate cryptographic proofs. And then they have replicas, which verify without re-executing. And what that hopefully does, in theory, is provide massive performance gains. It reduces bottlenecks and it improves the opportunity for scalability on the network. Other L2s like Arbitron and Optimism, they have seconds of latency, they have thousands of transactions per second. And like I said, MegaETH is building what they call a real-time blockchain, which allows for 100,000 plus transactions per second, right? It promises to be the first blockchain that will allow for apps to operate like regular Web 2 apps, right? Now, across Twitter, Twitter X, across Reddit, we have different perspectives, right? So we have people who fall into three different camps. Of course, we have the bull case people. You know, there's forever bulls, especially as it relates to anything new. Yes, I'm talking about you, Mr. Tony, right? Now, these bull case believers believe that if this is what Ethereum L2s were supposed to become, right? Finally, Web 2 level UX on chain. And if it works, it is going to kill off some of the other L1s that have been booming around. Yes, I'm talking about you, Cardano. People in the neutral camp, they're saying the tech sounds good, sounds insane, if it works, and can it work in a decentralized way? And they're saying, well, you know, we already have something like this. We have Solana, right? So it feels like Solana on Ethereum rails. So why not just use Solana? And then people who, in the bear case camp, they believe that it's too good to be true, right? And most importantly, they believe that it is just another VC hyped up centralized blockchain that presents all the risk of the traditional financial system, which we have been trying to get away from. So, is Vitalik's support enough to, or is it enough of an indicator of the potential? Now, Vitalik has not specifically, I don't know, I wasn't able to find any specific quotes where he speaks about MegaETH and he talks favorably about MegaETH, but he, like I said, he has put his money where his mouth is, and usually he does not invest willy-nilly in projects. So, again, is that enough to push them over the credibility hurdle? And is he even getting the full picture of what it is, or is he still being bamboozled by what it is promised to be? Again, these, like with every other project, like with everything in the world, obviously there are risks associated with any new project. Again, those who believe that it's a VC hyped up project, the concerns are as it relates to centralization. Usually high performance nodes requires serious hardware, which means or could mean a lot of concentrated power, especially with this VC backing. Obviously, execution risk, 100K transactions per second sounds really good, but it is also extremely ambitious. Are they going to be able to deliver on it, right? Many chains have promised and few have delivered. And then, of course, we already have some competition. We have Solana, we have Monad, which would have launched within recent time as well. And then we have the existing L2s. So do we see MegaETH being able to capture some of the volume, some of the value that is locked on these other L2s? Only time can tell. But the big picture is MegaETH just another L2, or is it something new that is going to redefine the way that we see blockchain, blockchain apps, how blockchains interface with the world, and does it truly lead us to the promised land of adoption? Obviously, traditional L2s focus on scaling Ethereum, but MegaETH speaks to basically rebuilding a whole new execution layer. They talk about millisecond latency and then step change performance, right? Significant change in performance right off the bat, right? Whereas some of the other L2s talk more about incremental improvements. So, is MegaETH the first project that is going to truly deliver on their promise of really scaling Ethereum? Or is it just another promise that will be broken? I guess only time will tell. But in the meantime, in between time, as for always, do your own research. Do your own research on the project. Do your own research on the token. Make sure you understand market cap and not just price. Make sure you understand the potential. Make sure you understand the vesting periods. Make sure you understand how much of the token stays with the team's vesting structure, and all these kind of things before you go jumping in there with your dollars and cents, right? But if it all works out, I'll be very happy because adoption is inevitable. That's my time. Is it micro or MegaETH? We will find out in a few months, maybe in a few years, right? Guys, thanks for being with me again. As per always, be blessed. Stevie, bless up, my brother.